Hey, Shalom. We'll get started here in just a few moments. All right. Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKodash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father. His true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh, and his son's name who the word Idom called Jesus Christ. Real name in the Hebrew is Yahushua. Also give praises, honor, and glory. It's like it also giving all praises, honor, and glory into the Yahweh HaKodash, the Holy Spirit, which is the force and entity that makes this edification possible. I want to say shalom to all you sincere-hearted Aki and Wa Akwat, that's you brothers and sisters make your bodies a living sacrifice on a daily basis in this wicked and adulterous generation. I also want to give double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who taught us this truth and who rule well. All right, now, this afternoon we're going to go into, the title of this lesson. It's been something that's been up on my spirit as of late, right? With Elder Apostle Hart through the Spirit, kind of set the tone, for the theme of what this year, can and more likely will bring. Right, as we've already been seeing a lot of things ramping up, in the spiritual world, right, and it's displaying itself through these through the earthly, experience that we're living. All these major judgments taking place, man. Right, so this is the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. Right, so that means for us as Israelites, right, for us so-called blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans, that means that we're about to fight like never before. And Yahweh Bashma Shah has allowed this word to go out free course, for a short span of time, right? And this short span of time, which is this grace period, it acted as if spiritual boot camp. That's what this ministry is, on this side. This is spiritual boot camp, right? Although we catch hell, we go through our afflictions, we go through our tribulations, right? Our trials, but nonetheless, this has been spiritual boot camp, and spiritual boot camp in and of itself is very deadly. Even when you look at Esau's ranks, when you go to the army, profession I used to be in, we didn't call it boot camp, but it was it was the fire academy, and in that, hell, people died in that, not in my class, but in previous classes, so even amongst spiritual boot camp, or even amongst actual boot camp or academies or whatever, right, people die. All right, it's lethal, but the Lord, he's about to put us into the real battle, so it's gonna be way more fatalities, way more casualties of war, so this is why, starting with our heads, the apostles, the elders, the brothers, all right, the Spirit has been emphasizing the importance, right, to our people of getting this truth, man, and taking it seriously. This is spiritual boot camp. Only only somebody that doesn't truly believe in how dangerous war is will take their boot camp with a relaxed approach. All right, but nonetheless, I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. As the title of the lesson says, it says spiritual boot camp is almost up. The real battle is next. Yeah, and that real battle, right, that we're about to go into is the climax of Jacob's trouble, because we're in Jacob's trouble now. We're in the beginning phases of it, as Yahweh Shah said in Matthew the 24th chapter. When you see all these things, wars, rumors of wars, right, famine in diverse places, earthquakes, pestilences, just know that these are the beginning of sorrows. All right, so we're in the beginning of sorrows. We're already in the beginning of Jacob's trouble, but the climax of Jacob's trouble is knocking at the doors, man. All right, so that's going to thrust us into the real battle, meaning what? That this ministry, right, having free course, right, with this word going out, it's about to be cut. So whatever we've learned, during this spiritual boot camp, if you will, that's what's going to be applied. And if you've been taking the spiritual boot camp, not see if you haven't been taking it seriously, what it's going to show in this darkest battle that the earth has ever seen. It's going to show. If you've been mocking, scoffing, right, believing that this word ain't true, well, guess what? Your ass is going to be a casualty of war. And Abaratazah, right, the Lord keeps, the sincere of us, that's been actually, studying, hitting the books, doing our spiritual, workouts, being repetitious, doing the same thing every day, getting up, training our minds, training our minds towards the righteousness of Yahweh Shema Shah. And this is really a good mindset to have, because knowing our Father, right, Yahweh, through his son Yahweh Shah, right, they're men of war. All right. Exodus 15:3. What did the Lord say? He says, the Lord Yahweh is a man of war. Yahweh Bashim Shah is his name. That's right. So he's a man of war. So do men of war, right, the chief and commanders, do they just throw their men out there on the battlefield? No, that's not how it works, right? They select. Let me grab this in 2 Timothy. They select certain men, all right, throughout their realm, and they enlist them into their army. All right. Now, once they enlist them, they draft them into boot camp. And we're going to get this definition of boot camp here in a second. And a lot of people become flunkies, within boot camp. You look at the Marines, especially like the upper echelons of it. They may start out with, 150 men, but once boot camp is done, within that short time frame, because boot camp really don't even last long. When you consider how long this word has been going out, it hasn't been a long time, starting around 1969, 1970, all the way up until now, with it really hitting the internet, with free course like around 2007, that hasn't been a long time, but boot camp in and of itself isn't a long time, so you're gathering a lot of information, you're training a lot, you're shocking your body, right, just to get it ready, for the war, so let me grab this here in the book of 2 Timothy. 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 3 says, thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier. See, so we've been chosen, right? We've been chosen to be soldiers, meaning that what? He's enlisted us into this boot camp. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're gonna, necessarily make it out on the other side alive, right? We're hoping and praying that he does. That's why we're, we liken ourselves as to the hopefully elect. All right, we hope we make it through boot camp. We hope we make it through the actual war itself. All right, being Jacob's trouble. So let me go into this definition of boot camp real quick. All right, give me 1 second. All right, this word boot camp. It's noun. It says a military training camp. All right, training camp. Hey, what are we? We're camps, under the Lord of hosts, meaning the Lord of heaven's armies. All right, so the Lord of heaven's army, he has his camps. We're out here in Dallas. It's the Great Millstone Dallas camp. Right, but nonetheless, right, it says a military training camp for new recruits. See, we've been recruited, right, chosen to be soldiers. So he's enlisted us into the boot camp. It says with strict discipline. Woo! Come on. That's what the word disciple means. The word disciple goes into discipline. You see, being restrained, being temperate. And that's exactly some of the main traits that you need, all right, while you're in boot camp. When you're in boot camp, you can't do, what the regular civilians do. You can't be getting high. You can't be getting drunk. You can't, be partakers of, the affairs of this life. That's why we just read it. No man that warreth entangle himself with the affairs of this life. Because when you look at the life of, the prophets, right? With really all the believers, but especially the men that's, you know, on the forefront, you know, their lives are very different. You know, you look at Apostle Har, you know, all the apostles, you know, all the elders, you know, and everybody's different, but, you know, it's very different from, you know, regular common Israelites. That's because we've been enlisted into this boot camp. So there's particular things that we just cannot do because we're preparing for this battle, you know? So it says, boot camp, it says a military training camp for new recruits with strict discipline. I'm gonna skip down here. It says a short, intensive, and rigorous course of training. See? And that's what this grace period has been. The Lord has shown us grace, right? He's shown us a lot of mercy by just by calling us into, you know, and giving us, you know, the privilege to even fight for him. You see, because we used to fight for Satan when we were in the world, but now during this grace period, he's enlisted us so we can be trained to fight for him, man. What does it say in Sirach, the 4th chapter and 28th verse? Let me grab that real quick. Sirach 4 and 28. It says, strive for the truth. And that word strive means to fight. That's what this truth is. It's a fight, man. It says, strive for the truth unto death. And the Lord Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, shall fight for thee. See? And he's given us an opportunity to, all right, by, you know, bringing us into these camps, into these boot camps, man. All right, so it says a short, intensive, and rigorous course of training. Yeah. Because, you know, like we stated earlier, you know, really when you know, sit back and analyze how long this truth has been going out, you know, here in Babylon the Great, it hasn't been a long time, man. You know, how long, let's see, how long is 1970 up until 2024? Let me see. My math ain't the best. Give me 1 second. Come on, 54 years, 53, 54 years. It's not a long time, you know, compared with all these other, you know, ideologies such as Christianity and Islam. That's been going out for fucking thousands of years, man. You know, but when you look at this truth, right, the real truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, this thing has only been going out for what, 50, you know, 55, 54 years. So that's a short time, meaning what? That this is there's a lot of information that had to have been gathered, you see, from the whole, well, ultimately from the elect. You see it in I remember Elder Yashwama had told us, you know, as younger brothers, he tells us this often, but he says, you know, listen, y'all don't have the same time that we had, you know, when we first came into the truth. You know, you brothers that's coming to the truth now, y'all got to get it quick. You know, y'all don't have the same time to make mistakes and learn from them, you know, like we did growing up, you know, in this truth. He said, like, we got to get it quick, man. So training, that's because we're in the waning seconds of training camp, man. You know, the Lord, you know, once the famine of the word commences, that's the end of training camp right there. The elect is sealed, all right? So now the Lord is throwing the elect out there into the fire. You see, throwing them into the real war, to the real battle. All right, and you know, if you don't have teachers, you know, preparing you for this, or you're going to be left, you know, in derision, as it says here in the book of Ezekiel, the 13th chapter. All right, you know, we've been seeing a common theme amongst these other Israelite camps. You know, their mindset that they're pushing out upon their congregation is a mindset of ease, relaxment. You know, they're not even really speaking about Jacob's trouble like that. You know, stripping Jake from the true names of the Lord. You know, but yet we're about to be thrown into the darkest, you know, hour in the darkest battle that the earth has ever seen. When you consider World War I, World War II, 70 AD, all right, all these, you know, wars that had high level of casualties in it. Hell, I believe World War I in and of itself, it had how many people? Over 9 million people, you know, dead. That's just World War I, not including World War II. And here we are on the brink of World War III. So it's about to get real. This truth is really deadly serious, man. So this is Ezekiel chapter 13. All right, Ezekiel 13 and verse start at verse 1. It It says, and the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy against the prophets of Israel. See? So the Lord rose up, the true prophets, all right, to go up against, these kingdoms, and to go against the false prophets of the nation of Israel. You see? And that's what, we do here at Great Millstone. A lot of people get tired of, they bringing up IUIC again. Well, yeah, that's a part of the jobs, man. It's to prophesy, against these false prophets. That's what the Lord commanded Ezekiel right here to do. So he says, Son of man, prophesy against the prophets of Israel, that prophesy and say thou unto them that prophesy out of their own hearts, hear ye the word of the Lord. And that's what these guys are doing, man. They're prophesying out of their own hearts. Well, hear what the Lord said. Thus saith the Lord. All right, it says, thus saith the Lord power, woe unto the foolish prophets that follow their own spirit and have seen nothing. O Israel, thy prophets are like foxes in the desert. I mean, they're real shiesty, man. It says, you have not gone up into the gaps, neither made up the hedge for the house of Israel. What does that mean? You haven't closed a breach, right? You haven't closed the gaps of understanding, the gaps of, the misinformation and disinformation that's in Jake's minds, man. You're not breaching that. You're not sealing that gap. So he says, you have not gone up into the gaps, neither made up the hedge for the house of Israel to do what? To stand in the battle in the day of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shai. See? These false prophets amongst Israel right now, they're not standing in the gap. They're not getting Jake's mind prepared for the battle, to stand in the battle in the day of the Lord, man. You see? Because when Yahweh Shah comes, man, he's going to bring, let me grab this in the book of Ezekiel. It's Ezekiel chapter 22 and verse 14. He says, can thine heart endure? And that word heart is mind, right? La'ab in the Hebrew. So he's saying, can your mind endure? And the only way it can endure is if it's been established upon, right, the Lord's truth. That wisdom and knowledge and understanding. Isaiah 33 and 6. So it said, what does it say? It says, for wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and the strength of salvation. And the fear of the Lord is his treasure. So it says, going back to Ezekiel 22 and 14, can thine heart endure, or can thine hands be strong in the days that I shall deal with thee? I, the Lord Yahweh, has spoken it and will do it. See? And that's what this spiritual boot camp has been preparing us for. It's preparing us to endure in the heat of the battle. And ultimately, we're just going to need his spirit. We're going to need, Yahweh Bashim Shah's spirit to succor and to aid us, to help us, because, of our own strength, we don't stand a chance, But the Lord's going to be helping those that took this spiritual training, seriously. All right, let me grab this in Matthew 24. Matthew 24 and 13 says, but he that endure unto the end of what? The end of Jacob's trouble. That's how the elect is going to be delivered, because they endured. That's why we should be praying for more endurance. And what builds up our endurance? Right? These trials and tribulation in this spiritual boot camp right now. That's why the Apostle James says, my brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations. Hey, that's a spirit. That's a spirit. Right when I quoted that scripture, my Bible just turned to that page. So hey, I guess the spirit wants me to read it. This is James chapter 1. You can't make it up. The wind knocked it. The wind knocked the page. That's right when I quoted that scripture. It literally knocked it right here, man. Call Allah Yahweh Shema Shah. So this is James chapter 1 and verse start at verse 1. It says, James, a servant of the Most High, of the Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. Yeah, we're scattered abroad till this day due to the curses. It says, verse 2, my brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations. Yeah, when the Lord, test our faith, when he puts our faith on trial by these fiery trials, that is. But it's still boot camp though. This is not even the real battle. But once again, you know, boot camp in and of itself is deadly. All right. So it says, verse 3, knowing this, that the trying, or that the trying of your faith worketh patience. All right, and that patience goes into suffering. So the more, all right, the Lord, you know, builds us up, you know, working out our patience in the time of this grace period or the spiritual boot camp, that will help us in the long run to endure, all right, Jacob's trouble. This is Hebrews chapter 3. See, is it 3? Maybe you have need for endurance. Okay, maybe no, it's Hebrews 10. This is Hebrews chapter 10. Let's see. It's not with confidence. No, that ain't it. I'm gonna find it. Give me 1 second. Okay, here we go. I'll get this one. This ain't the one I was looking for, but this is a good one. This is Hebrews 6:15. He says, and so after he had patiently endured, he obtained, well, let me get the context. This is, I really don't want to get this one. That's not the one I was looking for. That's going into Abraham, right? But the Lord, you know, promised Abraham, right, the land of Canaan, right? His seed was going to inherit it. Right, Abraham, our forefather, he endured. You see, he patiently endured. You see, and how was he able to patiently endure? Because the Lord, you know, built him up. He established him. And that's what he's doing for us right now. So I want to say, dang, okay. Let me just type it in my phone. Let me cheat real quick. Man, that's gonna bother me, but shit, I just have to. It's not popping up on my phone either. It's all good. Let me go back here to Matthew 24 and 13. It says, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Yeah, that's what this thing is all about. It's enduring. You know. Now I'm gonna grab that word endure. Then there's some more I want to get off that definition as well for boot camp. When you look at it with the spiritual eye, you know, you can see that's exactly what the Lord has enlisted us in. You know, Matthew 24 and 13, we're going to get that word endure. Hypomeno or hupomeno, it says to remain, to tarry behind, to remain, abide, to persevere under misfortunes and trials, to hold fast to one's faith in Hamashiach, to bear bravely and calmly ill treatment. See? And the only ones that's going to be able to do that are those that's been trained. All right? Those that's been trained, you know, in the spiritual boot camp to do so. Now, let me go back to that definition. Boot camp. So it says a short, intensive, and rigorous course of training. It's been rigorous, man. You know, it's like the Lord, he woke us up. You know, it's just been, you know, since day one, you just been eating up the roll. You know, some things you had to cut out cold turkey. You know, the Lord, Hebrews 12th chapter, been chastening us. So it's been rigorous, but it's all prepared. And I remember, who was that? Elder Ariala. You know, I remember one time he had made mention, you know, of how, you know, really most of the work is done in training. You know, sometimes you may spend years of training just to fight this one battle or just to fight this one war that may last for, you know, 2 months. You know, but that goes to show you the high level of intensity that Jacob's trouble is going to bring, as it says in Daniel 12 and 1. Let me grab that. This is Daniel chapter 12 and 1. And at that time says, and at that time shall Michael stand up. And who's Michael? Michael is the chief archangel underneath Yahweh Shai. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people, and who's the Lord's people? The Israelites. It says, thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. Yeah, those that remain through the spiritual boot camp, and those that remain through the time of Jacob's trouble. Now I'm gonna get that in the NLT, and then there's another definition I want to get for boot camp. Daniel 12:1 in NLT. It says, at that time Michael the archangel, who stands guard over your nation, will arise. Then there will be a time of anguish greater than any since nations first came into existence. That's why we just made mention of World War I, World War II, 70 AD. Some of the most bloodiest and deadliest battles that the earth has ever seen. But this one right here is going to be so deadly that it's going to literally, catch the attention of the heavens, man. You see, to where it's going to have to be divine intervention to come here upon the planet Earth. And Yahweh Shai is going to bring the holy host of angels. You see, that's how deadly Jacob's trouble is going to be. Jake really thinks that this is a game, man. This is not a game. They thought Noah was playing around when he was bringing in the flood, by his preaching, because they never saw rain before, right? And in these times, Jake has never seen missiles pelt Babylon the Great. They never seen chariot fire, zap people up. You see? But that's about to happen. Scriptures in Wisdom of Solomon, the 16th chapter, speaks about those strange rains. Psalms, the 11th chapter, the Lord said he's going to rain upon coals of fire upon the house of the wicked. What do you think that is? That's talking about these missiles, man. So Daniel 12:1 in NLT, it says, at that time Michael the archangel, who stands guard over your nation, will arise. Then there will be a time of anguish greater than any since nations first came into existence. But at that time, every one of your people whose name is written in the book will be rescued. And the ones whose names is written in the book is the elect. All right, so let me go back here. When you go back to Google, it says, what is the purpose of boot camp? It says basic combat training, also known as boot camp. It says also known as boot camp is required of all new enlisted soldiers. See, so this has been this is a requirement, and those that's been skipping boot camp, not taking it seriously, we see what the Lord did to them. He got their ass out the truth. He kicked their ass out this spiritual boot camp, man. You see? Not showing up on time, being sloppy, not wanting to work out their faith, complaining all the damn time. That's one of the main ways, like I told you, profession I used to be, that's one of the main ways to get your ass, kicked out, complaining. There's nothing more, irksome, in the ears of the drill instructor, the boot camp instructor, to hear some fucking complaining all the time, man. And Scripture speaks about how the ear of jealousy heareth all things, and he hears the noise of murmurings, man. And that's what Jake is known for, just murmuring, complaining. I'm tired, Elder Ariella was just speaking last weekend, at the class camp, the New Year's Eve of destruction, and he had said something that stuck out to me. And he said a lot of things, shit that we go through, it doesn't have to be verbalized all the time. We don't have to tell people everything that we go through, you got a damn hangnail, brother, pray for me, I got a hangnail, bro, we in the times where we just gotta toughen the fuck up, man, spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally. And I'm speaking to myself, because, you know, as long as we're in this flesh, you know, that those fucking demons, you know, will play on that weak nature, man. But that's the importance of, you know, mortifying, you know, our members upon the flesh. I mean, up on the earth, as Colossians the 3rd chapter says. Die to ourselves daily, man. You know, fuck the way I feel, man. Just man the fuck up and fear the Lord. You know, if I had to say what was the 2 main things, you know, that I've learned in this truth so far, is exactly what, you know, what was just said. You know, man the fuck up and fear Yahweh B'Shem Shah. You know, because those are 2 things that this world has not taught us. You know, our parents didn't teach us that, you know, as men. You know, because we live in this damn queendom. You know, men are not men, women are not women. And the fear of the Lord is definitely not pushed here. All right, so 2 main things that the Lord shows us, brothers, is to man the fuck up and to fear him, man. You know, when you look at all of our patriarchs, all the notable patriarchs that we read about in the scriptures, that's what they were known for, man. All right, they were men. Before you can qualify to be a man of the Most High, you first got to be a man. I remember elder out there in the Washington D.C. camp said that, man. That stuck out to me. Before you could be a man of the Most High, you got to be a man first. And men of the Most High, they fear him. That's the whole duty of man. Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter. See, what was the charge that David, you know, gave unto Solomon before David gave up the ghost on his deathbed? He said, Solomon, my son, you know, go out into the earth. Let me grab that real quick. What was that? 1 Kings, the 2nd chapter, I believe. 1 Kings 2 and verse 1. Now the days of David drew nigh that he should die, and he charged Solomon his son, saying, I go the way of all the earth. Meaning he's about to, you know, sleep with his fathers. All right, go into the grave. He says, Be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man, and keep the charge of the Lord Yahweh thy power, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses, that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest and whatsoever thou turnest thyself, that the Lord Yahweh may continue his word which he spake concerning me, saying, If thy children take heed to their way, to walk before me in truth with all their heart and with all their soul, there shall not fail thee, said he, a man on the throne of Israel. See? So that's the charge that, you know, King David, you know, gave unto his son Solomon, man. You know, before he gave up the ghost. Pretty much man up, right? And fear the Lord. And that was the conclusion of what Solomon had to say when you read the book of Ecclesiastes. All right? He says, let's hear the conclusion of the whole. Well, let me grab it. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. See? So let me go back here to this definition. It says, what is the purpose of boot camp? It says, basic combat training, also known as boot camp, is required of all new enlisted soldiers to create a strong foundation. Create a strong foundation. And scripture speaks about a foundation. You see, either you building up on the rock, which is Yahweh Shai, all right, or you building up on this world, which is sand, which is doom. You see? So that's what boot camp is about, is building a strong foundation mentally, spiritually, emotionally, you know, to where when that foundation is tested, because everybody's foundation is about to be tested very soon, man. Everybody, the Lord's about to blow up on everybody's foundation to see what it was made out of. And all those that didn't build up on Yahweh Shai, that rock, you're going to suffer, man. All right, so it says to create a strong foundation for their army experience and future goals. What's our goals? It's to be delivered. Matthew 24 and 13, as we got earlier. He that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved. It says once it's over, so once Jacob's trouble is over, once again, like I said, it's got to, you know, use spiritual, read this spiritually, right? This is actually off of GoArmy.com, you know, so Esau, you know, published this, but You know, this is their definition of boot camp. So it says, once it's over, your day-to-day will focus more on what's required for your specific job, as well as pursuing your personal goals and interests. Yeah, because once it's over, then your Howard Shah is going to come, right? Every man's going to be put in his own order. So we're going to be focusing upon, you know, our day-to-day specific job for each individual, you know, elect man, elect woman. You know, we're all going to be settled in our lots for all of eternity. And it says what? As well as pursuing your personal goals and interests. Yeah, we're going to be able to do whatever we want to do. You see? But that's after the battle is fought and won, man. You know, but this ain't the side to where we can just do whatever we want to do. We're in boot camp, man. You know, you can't do whatever the fuck you want to do in boot camp. You see? There's a very strict, you know, guideline to stick to. There's an order. There's always going to be an order. But see, that order has to be drilled inside of our minds right now. You know, this is why we go over the same things every single day. You know, we go over what the MOTB is. Go over who Esau is. This is getting it drilled in our minds. That's why you have drill sergeants. What's their job? To drill, right, the important foundational, you know, components of creating a fucking machine, man. To where when you get out there in the field, you're gonna be dominating, man. That's the importance, you know, and the power of getting things drilled inside of you, man. To be a machine, you know. What the Lord say in Wisdom Psalm in the 5th chapter. All right, for he's going to turn his creature into his weapons, man. I want to be me personally speaking. I want to be a machine, man. You know, I want to be I want to be, you know, I want to be shit. Exactly what the Lord wants me to be. You know, I want to be changed, man. You know, if that's his will, you know, whatever, you know, brother's going to have spiritual power, you know, and we speak about that spiritual power all the time. All right, but you know, we got to embrace the spiritual boot camp, but knowing that this is almost done, though. You know, the spiritual boot camp is almost done. You know, boot camp don't last a long time. So that was it on that one, on that definition there. Let's see. Yep. Down here it says, what is boot camp and how does it work? It says a boot camp is a specialized intensive training program designed to rapidly increase or significantly affect a participant's knowledge, abilities, and or both. It says, importantly, boot camp tasks provide participants with a wide range of practical skills, depending on the topic, the level of intensity, and the length of time. See? And that's summed up in this ministry, man. We're getting all this knowledge, this wisdom, and understanding in a short amount of time. Like we said, we just did the math earlier. You know, when you go from 1969 to 1970 all the way up until now, that's 53, 54 years of this word really having free course like that. That's not a long time, you know. But the elect is let me grab that in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter. It speaks about how the elect is going to gather faith for a treasure. You see, 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 5. And ere the present years were sought out, and or ever the inventions of them that now sin were turned, before they were sealed that have gathered faith for a treasure. That's what the elect is doing right now. Gathering faith for a treasure, because that's the only way you're going to be able to win in this war, are those that have gathered faith for a treasure. This is the book of 1 John. What is that? 1 John 5. Yep, 1 John 5 and 4 in the NLT version. He says, for every child of the Most High defeats this evil world, and we achieve this victory through our faith. See? That's how we're going to win this battle, man. It's through our faith, because the things that we're about to go against, it's going to look like there's no way in hell we can win. You know? 2 Corinthians, the 5th chapter. For we walk by faith and not by sight, because the sight of things is going to look horrible. You know? We don't know where our next meal going to come from, but we got faith that the Lord going to feed us somehow, some way. That's why we go over these particular Bible verses and stories about how the Lord feeding Elijah, you know, by the raven, you know, the Lord delivering the three holy children out of the furnace, you know. That's to build up our faith so we can overcome this darkest, you know, battle that we're about to go through. You know, if a military commander and his men, they don't have confidence and faith that they're going to win the war, before they even get on the field, they already lost because your morale is down. As a matter of fact, though, when you go into our law in Deuteronomy, I'm gonna hold my finger in Deuteronomy, the 20th chapter, and then we're gonna get well, let me finish this out in 1 John. There's a little bit more on that. So 1 John 5 and 4 in the NLT again, it says, "For every child of the Most High defeats this evil world, and we achieve this victory through our faith. And who can win this battle against the world? Only those who believe that Yahweh Shah is the Son of the Most High." See? And what was the purpose of Yahweh Shah being revealed? Is to defeat the works of the devil, as you read in 1 John, the 3rd chapter. And he already did that. You see, when he comes back, he's going to physically take this man out, right? And those that have faith on him, they're going to be delivered. They're going to win the battle against this wicked empire, man, against the beast system. We're fighting in the belly of the fucking beast right now, man. All right, so this is Deuteronomy, the 20th chapter, and really, this whole chapter is cool. I'm just going to skim through it. I'm not going to break it down too much. I'm just going to read it because it really breaks itself down. I'm just going to get it in the NLT because, you know, it's a law. So this is Deuteronomy 20 and verse 1 in the NLT. "When you go out to fight your enemies and you face horses and chariots and an army greater than your own," right? And we're fighting against Esau in the spirit. And we're not doing it carnally, you know. It's a spiritual battle, pursuant to Ephesians, the 6th chapter. All right, so he says, when you go out to fight your enemies and you face horses and chariots and an army greater than your own, and you look at Esau's fighter jets, his MRAPs, his tanks, we ain't got that. You see, it says, do not be afraid. Meaning what? Have faith. It says, Yahweh, your power, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, is with you. When you prepare for battle, and it's like, if I can add, because it says, the Lord your power who brought you out of the land of Egypt is with you. Why did he bring up the account of Egypt? So we can remember, right? So we can remember how he fought for us then. So that could give us more confidence in this next battle that we're going to go through. So it says, verse 2, when you prepare for battle, the priest must come forward to speak to the troops. And that's what's happening right now. You have the priest of the order Melchizedek, right, singing his new song, speaking to the rest of the nation of Israel, speaking to the rest of the elect of the nation of Israel. Because the priest's job, you know, is to pretty much pump up the morale of the people, man. That was of the men that was about to go to war. And that's what these video epistles are about, man. Is putting a fire up under us, man. Putting us on fire for Yahweh Shema Shah. You should feel invigorated after you watch, you know, the apostles, the elders, and the brothers' videos, man. That's the job of the Lord, raising up the priests, man. So it says, when you prepare for battle, the priest must come forward to speak to the troops. He will say to them, listen to me, all you men of Israel. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid as you go out to fight your enemies today. Do not lose heart or panic or tremble before them. Mind you, this is commandment, right? He's commanding us, don't be afraid. Put off that fucking weak nature, man. Man the fuck up and fear Yahweh Shema Shah. Remember that it was him that just delivered us from the ancient land of Egypt, man. Right? So it says, verse 4, for the Lord Yahweh, your power is going with you. He will fight for you against your enemies, and he will give you the victory. So the victory is already written, man. What does it say in the book of Revelation, the 17th chapter, concerning, right, this beast system? Let's grab it real quick. Because right now the world is wondering after the beast, saying, who can make war with the beast? Who in the fuck can destroy Esau? Right? This man he's got all the missiles, right? He's got all this technology. He's got brain warfare. You see, he could send out particular emit signals in the airways and give you suicidal thoughts, make you sleepy. You see, who can make war with the beast? But what does it say in Revelation, the 17th chapter? Verse 13. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb. See, so this beast system, Babylon the Great, all right, and NATO and the EU, right? These Edomites, as you read in Revelation 12th chapter, how the dragon and his angels are going to fight against Michael and his angels, man. So it says, these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. We're reading about something that's going to happen, but when you read it here in the scriptures, it's telling you something that's already happened, man. So the victory is already written. So the question is, all right, who believes that report? It says, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords and the King of kings. And they that are with him are called, chosen, and faithful. Yeah, the elect. The elect has been called into this war. They've been chosen, and they were faithful. They strove unto the truth until death, and the Lord fought for them. So going back to Deuteronomy 20th chapter in the 4th verse, it says, for the Lord Yahweh, your power is going with you. He will fight for you against your enemies, and he will give you victory. Then the officers of the army must address the troops and say, has anyone here just built a new house, but not yet dedicated it? If so, you may go home. You might be killed in the battle, and someone else would dedicate your house. Has anyone here just planted a vineyard, but not yet eaten any of its fruits? If so, you may go home. You might die in the battle, and someone else would eat the first fruit. Has anyone here just become, it says engaged, but it says married to a woman? Well, you may go home and it says and get married, meaning, go be with her, because, you're supposed to have a year, to pretty much be with her. All right, so it says, it says, like it, you might die in a battle and someone else may marry her. All right, so, Salaki, let me read that again, because when you get it here in the KJV, it says betrothed. It says, let me get it in KJV. It says, verse 7, and what man is there that have betrothed a wife, meaning you put a dowry upon her. All right, you haven't yet popped her yet, but you put a dowry upon her, meaning dedicated her unto you for a particular set time. It says, and have not taken her, let him go and return into his house, lest he die in battle and another man take her. All right, because we're not in the times for, building, planting, and marrying, man. You see, that's the affairs of this life. Now, of course, yeah, we got particular setups here. We got things here, but, at a moment's notice, we got to be able to be ready, and be able to drop those things, as Yahweh Shah commanded us in the book of Luke, the 14th chapter. You see? Because you had those wicked servants that made excuses unto Yahweh Shah in that chapter. Said that, well, I just married this woman. I just got this field. And Yahweh Shah rebuked them, man. And he said, no man can be my disciple unless he hate his father, his mother, his women, his children, yea, and even his own life. See? Because he's chosen us, he's called us and chosen us to be soldiers, man. And at the end of the day, it's going to benefit us. You see? Because this battle's still going to come regardless, man. Jacob's trouble is going to come regardless. All right? We just want to be prepared for it. Because all these people, man, I don't know what's going on. Bro, they're about to catch the worst fucking hell that this earth has ever seen, man. We can't even really, imagine it properly, all the way. A time of trouble such as never was since there's a nation, like, you can't even really think about that, because thinking about the amount of casualties in World War I and World War II, that almost seems kind of like, damn, did that really happen? Like, are those the right numbers? But yeah, it's the right numbers. All right, so just imagine World War III. And then it's going to be excruciating, terrorizing pain, man. You see? So let me finish this. Verse 8, Deuteronomy 20 and 8 in the NLT. Then the officers will also say, is anyone here afraid or worried? If you are, Go home before you frighten anyone else. See? So, you know, this is a commandment, man. If you ain't got no faith before you go into this battle, you got to go back home, because faithlessness is fucking contagious, man. You know, faithlessness is very contagious. You know that, because that low morale, you know, will rub off upon the other soldiers, man. You see. So it says, let's see, what's that? Yeah, that was pretty much the point on that. Salakia. Yeah, that was the point on that. I mean, yeah. You know, like I said, I was just doing some meditating, man. You know, how the Lord got us in this spiritual boot camp, and it's about to be done with. It's about to be up. The real battle's coming. You know, so this is the importance of getting our minds established upon the truth. You know, taking this thing serious. You know, and utilizing everything that we've learned. It's gonna be every man for himself. So, you know, with that, hope you akin wa akwath were edified. And next time, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Chakadash. I want to give double honor to the apostle, who's a great millstone, the waffle of a ball, Shalom.